Are there any drummers in the house?
I play percussion.
That's because he couldn't play anything else.
Shut up.
Come here, dude.
Hey, man. Did you touch my drum set?
Nope.
It's just weird, because seems like someone definitely touched my drum set.
Yeah, that is weird. 'Cause I didn't touch them.
I am warning you right now, if you touch my drums, I will stab you in the neck with a knife.
Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Drumheads Podcast. My name is Daniel, and this is episode 72 with Tony from Bellwether Drums. Now, I had to record this intro because I called him Phil for some reason, so sorry, Tony. I don't know why I called you Phil. But anyways, yes, this is Tony with Bellwether Drums. If you're not familiar with Bellwether Drums, where have you been? These snare drums and drums are just, they're off the hook crazy! He is such a craftsman of of an epic proportions. I mean, just the guy is just legendary in the the custom stave drum building and stuff like that. So this was an episode where Adam and I both interviewed Tony, and we just bounced different questions off him back and forth. And, this is a name we heard a lot. When we did our custom snare drum episode, we kept hearing the name Bellwether Drums. When we had Mike Martin on, hey Mike, how are you? Thank you for everything. He mentioned, that he was a big fan of Bellwether Drums as well. And, we'd go on, Facebook, and you'd go on these forums and these, groups and see things, and people would talk about Bellwether Drums. So, me and Adam were like, dude, we got to get this guy on. I mean, this guy is, he's killing it. So we did a Skype conversation. So it was we always come away, me and Adam both, after we record, after we hit, say goodbye to the guest, me and Adam will talk for a couple minutes, and we just, every time we do one of these episodes, we're like, dude, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about this. We learned so much. So it's not like when we do these podcasts, that we're just kind of coming away like, oh, okay, good, we got that one in the can, moving on. Both of us learned so much from these episodes. It's like we almost go back and listen to the episode, not to hear what we said, but hear what the person said, what Tony said. So, yeah, just a great dude. If you're looking for a, high-end, snare drum, or, he doesn't really do big drum sets or anything like that. He said he's done a couple, but mainly just snare drums. If you're wanting, it's almost like a work of art that you can play. I mean, I would be so hesitant. I'd be like, I don't want to hit. I just defiled this snare drum. What have I done? So, but yes, they're just, they sound amazing. They look amazing. So go check them out, Bellwether Drums. And also, we extended the raffle to December 1st. So you still have a chance to buy a raffle ticket for the giveaway. So if you want to, still buy a raffle ticket. They're $10. You still have a chance to win a Predator percussion snare drum. You can get a 1710 percussion snare drum, and then also we have a Love custom drums. So you've got 3 more drums right there that you can win. So $10 buys you into the raffle. Just thank you to everybody who's already bought one. Just thank you. So yes. So here it is. Episode 72, not with Phil, but with Tony of Bellwether Drums. Do it! All right, hey guys, welcome back to the Drumheads Podcast, and I'm joined by Adam Ellsbrook. How are you, Adam?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and this is a special episode again because Adam and I are going to be interviewing a custom drum builder. And so we have Tony from Bellwether Drums on. How are you, Tony?
I'm good, thank you.
I really appreciate you being on. And if you hear some small children in the background, that's mine. I'm trying to get them settled in. They're about to go to a birthday party, so they're kind of acting crazy. So.
Well, that could be mine too.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Don't roll me out either.
Yeah, no, I think
I've got them running around.
I've got 3 kids. Adam's got 2. How many kids do you have?
I have a pair of them too.
Oh, okay, so we're all drummers with small children, so we all understand each other. So But this podcast, yeah, we've done a couple of custom snare drum podcasts, and we heard a name that kept coming up every time: Bellwether Drums, Bellwether Drums. And so Adam and I thought it was a great idea to have you on and just talk about custom drum building. So thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for being on. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna Adam. Tell us how you came about finding about Bellwether Drums, because Adam does some custom drum building as well. So he kind of turned me on to your stuff too.
Yeah, for me, it really happened when I joined the Facebook group about custom drum building. And I was hanging out with Scott Chaprari, is one of the guys that I was talking to a lot, and he kind of turned me on to the group on Facebook. And I was kind of looking around. I was making cajones myself, and I just kept seeing these drums, which were Tony's drums here at Bellwether, and there were just something about them that was definitely, I would say, a notch above a lot of the other stuff that you would see on that particular page. And it was the fact that I think every single aspect of the drums are just customized, and his signature's all over them. It's just they're just beautiful drums, and there's so much attention to detail and focus, and it's a piece of art more than it is just somebody buying a Keller shell and putting some lugs on it and shipping it out the door.
Yeah, for sure. So Tony, when did you start Bellwether Drums? When did you start getting into that business?
Well, I've had the name for maybe 5-6 years, maybe a little more. But I built my first drum maybe 20 years ago.
Oh wow.
I'd always been into woodworking. I took as many classes as I could in high school. I'd do 3 or 4 or 5 periods a day in wood shop, just because that's what I like to make. Anything, just as long as I've got my hands busy. I've never really the bookworm kind where you'd be studying history or math or English. I'd always like to have my hands going.
Yeah.
So I always did that, and I figured, well, why not build a drum if I'm building other things, bookcases and desks and stuff like that? Why not try a drum? It's just like how hard can that be if I'm building the other things? So I did that, and it turned out pretty well. And it had of course my first drum I misdrilled the holes for the lugs and so it's got a whole bunch of I call them vents now.
Yeah,
I still have the drum. So
you still have the drum? That's sweet.
Yeah, it's actually holding up pretty well for being out in the garage in the weather and the time the temperature changes and everything.
Yeah.
But so I did that, and I played it for a while as a little piccolo, a 14 by 3.5, I think. And played that forever, and then went in and out of drums. Lost interest, gained interest again, things like that. And then I got in a band maybe 15 years later or so, and the little piccolo just wasn't cutting it because it was like a modern country type band, which not a fan of the music, but it's fun to play. It's easy and it's fun.
Yeah, I hear you.
So that was fun, but the piccolo wasn't cutting it, so I figured I'd make another one. That turned out nice, or turned out a lot better than the first one. And I just kind of went from there and realized that since I'm maybe a mediocre drummer at the best, I was better at making drums than playing them. So I just kind of went from there. And just that's pretty much where it started. I figured, why not see what happens? Because I don't have to pay bills with it, but I have a day job. So if I don't sell any drums, that's cool too. Then I just have more for my collection.
There you go.
And that's kind of how it started.
Well, I totally understand, because Adam and I are both in the same. Adam is a school teacher. I work in a medical warehouse by day. So we're both just kind of hobbyists, I guess you could say, but just big fans of I can't make drums to save my life. If someone gave me the pieces, they would probably be like, I would spend an hour just like cursing at it and then throwing it in the fire.
Well, don't think we all don't do that as it is.
Right.
But yeah, so go back to school. So did you do school band or anything like that, or?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I just like to make noise kind of at that time.
So
Just, I had friends that played drums, and I think one of them was in the school band, and he was great. He played the set in the school band, and he was incredible. He still is.
Nice.
But no, we just kind of just made noise, and got a couple of guys together on the 4 guitars together on the weekend and played, and since nobody played bass and that kind of thing.
What was the first kind of drummer you were really into?
Oh, that would be Neil Peart.
Ah, Neil Peart.
He's the guy he's who lit my interest in it.
Nice.
It's understandable.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's great. Still is. I still like him, but my interests have changed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but he's still great. I still listen to their stuff all the time.
Are you kind of bummed that he is, that Rush is kind of taking a break right now?
I don't know. They got plenty of music to listen to, so I'm not. I don't listen to much of their newer stuff, anyways.
Oh yeah.
So it's not as though I'm. Yeah, it's not as though I'm obsessed with everything they come out with. So I'm surprised they've been around this long, and that's a long career.
Yeah, it is a long career. I love that documentary about him. Because I'm not a huge Rush fan. Are you a big Rush fan, Adam?
I'm a fan of the percussion end of Rush, but I always had a hard time with sort of like the vocals and some of like the. It's the same. I'm in the same boat with what's that other band that's in my mind it's more of a modern Dream Theater. Yeah. And I like the older
right.
like Mike Portnoy Dream Theater, but the same idea, like it's almost like musicians' music, where like you can, if you're a musician, you really sit down, you can like focus in on it and like get into it.
It's hard to listen to. Yeah.
Right. I'm not gonna like put it on my like cross country playlist or something.
Yeah,
that's true.
Everybody say, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I've played it a couple times in like my warehouse, and people are like, "What is?" I'll play like it wasn't even Dream Theater. It was Liquid Tension Experiment, and everyone's like, "What is this? When the vocals gonna kick in?" I'm like, "It doesn't."
Yeah, it's music.
It's just music. But,
yeah.
I'm kind of like Adam. I appreciate the Neil Peart's drumming. But it's just one of those things I couldn't really just get into.
Oh yeah.
But
there's a lot of music like that.
Yeah, it's subjective. So.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
So when it comes to Bellwether Drums, so you said you started 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Something
6
like
maybe.
That. Okay. So you kind of just set out did someone like commission you to build a drum, or was it just you were just doing it as a hobby and Sorry, my daughter is interjecting into the conversation.
That's okay.
She likes my phone.
She's very well spoken.
So, but yeah, did someone like ask you to build the drum, or you just kind of just started building them as just to do something?
I started just to do something, and then I showed some of the guys down at the local drum shop, and they liked it, and one of the guys wanted one. So that was my first commission drum. He just said, "I want this size and walnut, and then do whatever else you do," kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And he supplied the hoops and he supplied the hoops, and I took care of the lugs and all that. But that was my first commission build. And it's kind of fun. So I kept pushing it as much as I could around here locally, and then got a Facebook page and that sort of thing, and just slowly tried to spread the word myself.
Mm-hmm. So, go ahead.
No, and then slowly here and there, people saw me, and it grew and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Just kind of through word of mouth. I don't advertise in like the back of magazines, or every now and then I'll do like a $10 Facebook ad or that kind of thing. But I like to let it grow on its own instead of forcing it, because since I'm a one-man show, I can't take on too much work anyways.
Yeah, I totally get you with the Facebook thing, because it's it's kind of BS that they charge you to make if you want your content seen. It's like, well, you have to pay X amount of dollars to see it, and certain like
Yeah, Yeah. Otherwise, they limit it.
Or they limit it. I think it's nonsense, but
It's strange how they do that, and I understand the ad things, but I don't understand the limiting it. They're kind of holding you hostage. So you're going to pay, or nobody's going to see you.
Yeah, I know, it makes no sense. Well,
when it would otherwise normally be seen just through people's regular feeds.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's a little strange.
Yeah.
And I think Instagram is still that way, where you're not really limited as well. So that's kind of Facebook used to be that way. I think.
Yeah. I've just recently got on Instagram in the last maybe year or so, and it's great.
Oh yeah.
I've gotten lots of interest on it from Instagram.
Well, I think. Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering if Tony has sort of like an average number of drums you make or sell a year, or if there's like a consistent demand, or if it's sort of like an ebb and flow sort of situation, or
it seems like it's feast or famine, which is I'd rather be consistent, but I can't control that very much. But
sure,
it's I'll have sometimes I'll have one going, which is just fine, and then other times I'll have 7 or 8 all of a sudden out of nowhere. It's I don't know what causes that, like maybe tax returns, people getting extra money back, or Christmas money, or I don't know. It's very strange.
I just got that bonus.
It's weird how it happens, and there's no, I can't find any pattern, but that's just the way it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And when it comes to like your drums themselves, do you build the drum based on like what people want, or do they kind of just give you a vague idea and you kind of run with it, or is it or a mixed bag?
It's mixed. It's both for sure. Some people are down to the last hundredth of an inch they want their things, and other people will say I kind of want something like this, and whatever you come up with, I'm cool with it. It really depends. I've had some that are just totally picky, which is fine. It's a little hard to see for me to see what they're seeing in their head.
Yeah.
As far as the design goes, because everybody's got a different idea of what will work and what won't, and the way wood behaves, you can glue it on. You can glue it certain ways, and some ways it'll work, and other ways it won't. If you glue the grain in different directions, things like that, which people don't know. They think you can just throw it together and it'll work no matter what.
Yeah.
And it's part of my column isn't going to work because 3 or 4 years down the road it's going to fall apart on you just because that's how Mother Nature works.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a lot of it's that. It's my job to explain why it won't work and why it's not in their best interest to have, or for me to make exactly what their idea is.
Yeah.
It's but that's part of it. It's just it's sometimes it's easier than others because people are stubborn and others aren't, and things like that. But it's just part of the way it goes. It's no big deal.
It'd probably be best to work with somebody who knows what they want versus trying to work with somebody who's like, well, I don't care, and you're scared to make those decisions. It's like, do I do this? Do I do that? I'm not really sure what to do.
Absolutely. It's real hard. I try to, I have them. I don't start until some things are nailed down, because I'm not going to go out there and cut the wood and glue it up, and then they say, oh, that's not what I was thinking at all. And so there's some things that I absolutely nail down, and they say, and I say, I'm in this stage right now. Once I do it, there's no going back. So this is what you're going to get, whether you like it or not. If you're not going to, if you're not going to give me a yay or a nay, you gotta have some things nailed down.
Yeah.
So, but it's just part of
the process. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just part of doing very custom things. You just got to make sure that everybody knows exactly what's going on.
So when we did our custom drum episode, Adam had told me that you actually make most of the hardware, or like the lugs and stuff like that. What made you decide I want to make the hardware as well as the shell? Because most people they'll make the shell, then they'll buy the tube lugs or the beaver tail lugs. Was that just you trying to stand out, or what?
Yeah. yeah, just something different because that's the thing. Everything. If you can all buy the same hardware, everybody can buy the same hardware. So it's just set them apart, and I like having control over it. I can control the length, that kind of thing too.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want a regular lug. I didn't want something different than even the other custom guys are making. It's just a tube with threads in it, and I was kind of tired of looking at that.
I hear you.
Right. It was just, and it's great. And they're pretty, they're bulletproof. But I just wanted something with a different look to it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that my drums would be recognizable without seeing the badge.
That's a good point. I never thought about that. That you can see it and be like, oh, that's a Bellwether snare drum, or
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Adam, you got anything you want to throw at him?
Well, I mean, just to kind of go off of that too, like I've seen a lot of guys that are trying to make custom drums, and especially if you're first entering into the field, you're kind of strapped for cash, and to put 10 lugs on a drum is pretty expensive anyway. So if you're operating on your own bank account, you can get some lugs that are $10 a pop.
Oh yeah,
so
I mean, they get expensive.
A lot of people are thinking like, I wonder how much it would cost if I just made these myself. But, I think a lot of people too lack some of the equipment or skill to do that. But it's just ridiculous, some of the stuff. And then, I mean, if you sort of cheap out and buy a lower quality lug, it'll crack and it'll break, and you'll get like some of the cast metals just like snap. And it's what you get on those entry level student drum kits, some of these cheaper lugs. But so I think that's one of the things that set Bellwether Drums apart for me when I was always poking around is like, wow, this guy's not joking around. He's got everything, figured out. And, and I think on some of the pages I've seen, you show the process from start to finish, and, there's a picture of like a chunk of metal under a drill press, and then like the next pictures of this like beautiful lug, and so it's great. But
Yeah,
it's fun. It's part of the process.
Yeah, I guess I have questions too about like your shop setup. Did you outfit your shop particularly for making drums, or is this equipment that you've sort of had or just acquired along the way, and you figured you could use it to help with? Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was kind of just rambling on at the end, but I think you probably get the point of the question.
No, well, when I was in high school, I also did a lot of bowls, of segmented bowls, like decorative.
Sure.
You know how Fraser Murray does his segmented drums. I did bowls like that, but with 400 pieces at a time sometimes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So my grandfather, he was nice enough to say, hey, now that you're out of high school, since you don't have the equipment, what do you think if I bought you the equipment to make these things? So I said, well, yeah, of course. So my grandfather was nice enough to give me a few $1,000 to buy what I needed, which is great. So that's how I was able to build my first drum so long ago. Mm-hmm. So I had a lot of the equipment already, which was kind of low end equipment, and slowly I've just kind of re-outfitted everything.
Yeah.
As time goes on to make the bigger drums, I built a lathe I can handle up to 32 inch. I can build a 32-inch drum if I wanted to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I had the equipment, and I'm slowly retooling it to work with drums specifically. But I can still do everything else, like table saw. You can cut whatever you want with.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But the lathe itself is specific for drums.
Nice.
And then I have once I started wanting to build my own lugs, I had to go out and find the metal lathe, which is a whole different animal than a wood lathe.
Sure.
I had to go find a mill, which I stumbled across one really cheap, so that was really lucky. Just but the metalworking stuff is what I have bought most recently. Mm-hmm. For the lugs and what I do to the throws too.
Yeah, that's right.
So what is your day job, just if you don't mind asking, does it have to do with mechanical stuff like this, or is it something like, oh, I'm a computer
No.
programmer?
No, I work for a big brown delivery company.
Okay, so it's FedEx.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, that's too good of a setup. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know who
But yeah.
DSL.
Yeah.
yeah. The postal service.
No,
Which
yeah,
one is it?
No, I'm just a delivery driver during the day.
Okay, cool. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
which is good because
oh yeah.
I've always said I don't want to make money doing what I like to do, because
Right.
then it becomes a job eventually, as far as I'm concerned.
That's
Yeah, you start to lose the taste for it, because it's, yeah,
It's you get the stresses of having to pay the bills with it, and just the things that go along with it, being there for 8, 10, 12 hours, whatever. I've always said I never wanted to make a living at anything I love to do, because then it eventually becomes
work. Yeah.
a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to look at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
To have that mindset, while you're, you when you get home, you have, of course, your family to look forward to, but you also have, you look forward to putting together drums and, building drums, which is,
Right.
it's like your release.
Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally hear you. So, how many drums have you probably built thus far? Just kind of a rough estimate.
Oh, geez, I'm not sure. Maybe 20 or 30.
Okay.
I'm like molasses in winter when it comes to building them.
Okay.
I'm really slow, but
Well,
it's just because I only do it on the weekends.
yeah. Well, and you're building not just the shell, you're building the hardware and all that.
Yeah.
I can imagine it takes a lot of time to to lathe out hardware.
Right.
It's not as easy as just cutting some pieces of wood and gluing them together. You've got to be
Right.
very meticulous when it comes to lathing metal or
Oh yeah.
whatever material.
Yeah. It's very time consuming for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm also slow.
Well, how did you learn to do the lathe? Was it just trial and error, or did you?
I learned most of that in high school.
Okay, so it's just stuff you
when
carried over.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just fun to do. I don't know, spinning things real fast, and when you turn it off, you got something there. It's kind of fun,
Mm-hmm. Nice.
That's one of the things that I sort of, I'm not going to say regret, but one of the things I feel like would have been better for me in a career path was to have that like notable difference between the start of my work and the end of my work. Like, so I mean, if you're turning a drum on a lathe, when you walk away, it looks completely different than when you started.
Oh yeah.
Where I'm a teacher and like a kid walks in and I can talk to him for an hour and give him stuff to do, but when he leaves, I'm like, I don't really know what my impact was today.
Yeah.
So it's one of those elements where I'm always struggling with that idea of like, I wish I paid more attention to that element of my own personality, where I'm really looking for like a physical change in
Sure.
and what I'm spending my time on.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife's a teacher too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy for me and you because, it's about getting your truck empty, and for me, it's me making sure all those damn boxes are put on the shelf. And,
Right.
So I understand you, Adam, where you're like, did I process? Did this kid retain what I taught him?
Yeah, did I make an impact at all?
Yeah.
And I guess with education, sometimes you don't know for years. Like 5 years
Right.
later, this kid's like, "Hey, I really liked your class 5 years ago," and you're like, I wish you would have told me earlier.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah.
I haven't beaten myself
great.
up for 4.5 years now.
Right.
I thought you were a lost cause, and now,
Yeah.
That's funny. Never thought. Now I know how my mom feels because she's a teacher as well. So yeah,
Nah.
teachers. So when it comes to like, have you built a full size kit, or is it just mainly been just snares?
It's mainly snares. I have 2 kicks going right now, kick drums.
Okay, cool.
But those are on the back burner since those are my little projects.
Okay.
Since I've got so many other customer drums going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're fun. They're just different than a snare because you got so much more mass spinning
Oh yeah.
on the lathe.
Yeah. For sure.
So it's a little bit different, but it's it's same technique, just kind of applied a little differently.
Have you thought about ever bringing in somebody to help you, or you just want to keep it to yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought about it, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I'd trust anybody else to do what I like to do, and since I'm such a perfectionist, I'm not sure that I trust anybody else really.
Or you'd feel like they're intruding on your turf, I guess you could say. Or your time.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. It's kind of a niche thing, so I'm not sure anybody else is out there that would, have the experience on the lathe and as well as the drum half of it, not just the wood half, but the woodworking part, but the drum part too. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I'm busy enough, and then and that also means there'd be somebody, hanging out in my garage at my house with my kids. That would be kind of weird.
Yeah. Do I trust this person enough? Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
What about things like bearing edges, and is that usually something that you'll let a client decide, or is that something that you have like a particular sound that you like to focus at or target with a bearing edge or not?
I have my go-to edge, but and generally that's what I put on there. I just tell the customer will say, I want it super sensitive and fat and articulate and whatever other words you want to throw at it, and that's usually my go-to bearing edge, but is what they ask me for. But I ask them what sound they want, and that's usually what I end up with is my go-to thing, because I'm not a fan of the super sharp double 45. All you get is, to my ears, all you get is a lot of plasticky attack. Just head sound, no drum, no tone out of the shell. At least that's what I hear. But I know everybody hears things differently. But I stay away from that and try to bring as much of the shell sound out as I can. That's half of why you use all these fancy woods, is to get that little bit of sound out of the shell that you can.
And to go off that question, of bearing edges, is there a particular wood you like to use, or is it just based on like the client, like Adam said?
There's a particular wood I don't like to use.
Which wood, or do you not want to say?
No, it's Wenge. That stuff is awful.
Well, I haven't heard of that. What is that?
Wenge. It's I'm sure you've heard of it. It's spelled Wenge. It's just awful. I hate that stuff.
Is it just it's hard
it's brittle, and the dust is like, you cut it on the sun, the dust is like flour, but it's black and disgusting. And it's super fine, and the grain is really open, so you get a lot of tear out. I don't love it. It's a beautiful wood, but it's just not fun to work with.
It's just not fun to work with. I hear you.
So yeah. But there's like right now I'm building a black and white ebony one, and that wood is incredible to use. It's so nice. It cuts like butter.
Butter.
It's great. So some are better than others, but I don't love one in particular, maybe besides that ebony. But the funny thing is, the super hardwoods, like the tropical type hardwoods that are real oily, they tend to, even though they're hard, they tend to cut the best.
Oh, really? Okay. Like Babinga or something like that?
No, Babinga's relatively, Babinga's maybe in the middle of the pack as far as hardness goes. But
I am totally clueless when it comes to like all the densities and all that stuff. I know like 5 of the woods, but yeah.
No, just the way the grain structure makes them, you get a lot of tear out with some, and others it's awesome sometimes.
Nice.
But yes, some are more difficult than others, but I like walnut. It smells really good.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And so with the social media, do what?
No, it can remind you like walking into a house that making like an apple pie or something. It's real spicy smell. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with social media and all the, the people who are on Instagram and stuff, do you feel, that it's a great time to be a custom drum builder, or, or is it kind of oversaturated, or, I'm always
Yeah.
curious,
Um,
or kind of both.
I'd say both. I mean, it's definitely saturated with plenty of drum builders.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a matter of setting yourself apart if you want to get noticed. There's tons and tons out there, especially now that that the Coco jig or the router jig, people are doing those. So that's a lot easier. You can make your own. You don't have to have any specialized equipment to make them.
Okay.
So which makes things easier, which is why there's so many stave type drum builders, because you don't have to have super expensive heated presses to make ply shells or things like that, or steam bending equipment to make a drum. You need a table saw, a router, and a router jig, and you're up and going. And then from there, it's just a matter of dialing everything in. So that's where there's so many the ply or the stave builders out there.
Have you ever dabbled in either ply or steam bent shells at all, or
No, not at all. No, I there's other guys that do those really well. So I'll leave it up to them.
Sure, yeah.
I've thought about building a couple, just to buying their shells just to build them and check them out and see how they sound compared to the stave drum and stuff like that. But I've never even considered building my own.
Okay.
What about metal? Have you ever thought about adding metal drums to your repertoire, or
yeah, I'd considered it for half a second. But,
for half a second.
I don't know. I just kind of I like to have control over what I'm building. So, and I'm not set up to build any metal shells.
Yeah.
So, and if a friend asked me to do it, said like to drill holes and stuff like that, I'd do it no problem. But I wouldn't put my badge on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like I need a smelting plant and
you'd
couple ingots.
the whole build a metal shield is a whole different animal than the wood stuff, and the equipment is entirely different.
Yeah. And so going forward, where do you see your company going? Do you kind of want to keep it small and I guess you could say, for less word, boutique-y?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't have any intentions of making it big at all. It's just it's something I enjoy doing, so I'm not gonna go out of my way to make it something I don't want to do. For lack of a better word, I don't know. I'm not. I want to keep it a hobby.
Okay. Yeah.
A hobby that pays for itself. That kind of thing. I don't want to. I have no intention of making a big deal out of it. I want to keep it going. I just don't want to make it huge.
Yeah.
I have no intention of doing that.
Which is fine. I totally respect that.
Yeah.
You want to keep it. You want to keep it small enough where you can, maybe make a little extra money on the side. But you want to keep it, just almost to yourself. It's your thing.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. Exactly. What you said.
Well,
sort of along the same line, have you gotten any sort of press on your drums outside of like small local things? Like, has any of the percussion magazines or anything done a write up or put a photo of your drums in any of their stuff?
Yeah, just a few months ago, Drum Magazine did a little write up on me.
Nice.
Okay.
I think they call it the Meet Your Maker column.
Oh yes.
Right.
Yes.
Just like this, 3-4 paragraphs and some pictures in the back, and that was cool. So, but no, that's it. Just that, which is great.
And now a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I hit the big time now.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we had Mike Martin on from Predator Percussion, and he mentioned you by name. It's one of those people he looks up to as a custom drum builder, and it's just that name has just been thrown out so many times by so many people.
Oh, how funny. That's funny.
No,
Interesting.
your drums are great. I mean,
Thank you.
I don't think anybody's bullshitting you when they're saying your drums are awesome.
Thanks. I hope not. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. But Adam, you got any more questions you want to throw at him?
Not, I guess not really questions, but it would just be more like compliments, really. Like thinking back to some of the drums that I've looked at recently, the like just the small little details, like the little like I don't know if you call them washers, but like the leather grommets or washers that, and you punch all those yourself, and just like all that kind of stuff. Like
right.
Nobody else is really taking it to that level, I think, is why might have brought your name up, because you're just kind of like, you're all in, you're not really holding back at all. And I think it does not go unnoticed.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah. It's just a matter of me being meticulous.
Right.
I don't know. It just, I don't like letting it go until it's perfect kind of thing. I'm not well, it's, that'll work. Some people are, I'm not, because, that's just not me. Which is why it takes so long sometimes, because I'm constantly tinkering, adjusting this or that to make sure everything's dead on.
Well, I'm looking through your Instagram page, and I came across this picture of, it says fake Bellwether with the no smoking thing through it. Are there people out there trying to pass their snare drums off as yours?
Oh no! That was me throwing a tantrum.
Oh, okay.
Nobody's trying to pass it off as a Bellwether, but I've seen a lot of. I've seen some folks do. How do I put this? Do a lot of the things I'm doing. Not call it. They do it under their name, which is fine, but that kind of thing.
Okay,
I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that every time somebody, which is, I have no claim on this or that, because I'm not going to do the patent and trademark and all that stuff. But I just want to get it out there that just because they see something that I've done before doesn't mean that it's a Bellwether.
Oh, okay, I got you. Well,
so no, it's not. It's not somebody trying to pass their stuff off as mine at all. Not at all.
Because I know, with Craigslist and. I think Adam and I talked about it on another podcast of like, people putting up like, you're flipping through and it's like, oh, there's a, brand new set of pasty hi-hats for $100 and, and it's like the 2002s and you're like, and you open it up and it's like some, I don't know, like what's the lower end of the pasty cymbals, Adam? I'm blanking.
Oh, like a PST3 or something.
Yeah, and you're like that's not it, and you're like nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and I'm still flipping through, and so what kind of heads do you like to put on your drum kit or your snares, I should say?
I prefer Evans.
Evans, okay.
Yeah, they seem the most consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I know a long time ago I would use Remo or Evans, but it seems like the Remo quality control has gone down. At least back when I was still using them. Maybe things have changed, but they wouldn't fit. The fit was inconsistent. It seems like, a lot of times the Coney would wear too quickly, and I don't know. The Evans just seem a little higher quality. Not that they really sound a lot different, but the quality seems better with the Evans to me.
Nice.
Have you looked at their new like that 57 throwback calfskin looking new head that they've just released? I think. Have you considered using? I mean, I guess why I'm thinking this question is because it's your drums have sort of this like almost like a timeless look to it, and that that might get accented quite well by like one of those. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen them. I haven't.
Heads.
Yeah, I've seen them, but I haven't had a chance to hold them yet and check them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been curious about them too, though.
Yeah.
Next time I have one ready to go, I might try them just to see what happens.
Adam makes a good point because I think it would complement it very well. It's got that vintagey kind of earthy kind of look to it, and and your drums have that organic, fresh look to it. Where
Okay.
I think it'd pop.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at him next time for sure. I've seen him.
Yeah. I haven't had a
But,
chance to try them out either.
Right.
I know a lot of
somebody thinks
guys
to do.
have, a lot of guys like use the what is it, the Remo fiber skins
skin,
for their reso head, just because of that sort of classic
yeah.
look on a bass drum. And then
I do like that look. That's cool looking.
And then Aquarian came out with I actually used their heads, and the modern vintage head, which has that sort of brown calf tone look to it a little bit. And then Evans finally came out with their sort of response to all that too. So I was just wondering if some of these like brand loyalists would like, people love a particular brand, but like they like that look of that Remo reso head, and they like almost feel a little awkward shopping in the Remo section.
They're cheating on Evans.
Yeah. Drop $50 on a reso head.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've actually thought about doing those on the kick drums. That that fiber looking or calf type looking head.
Pretty classy stuff.
Yeah, they're sharp. They look really sharp.
Yeah. Well, to kind of wrap it up with everything is we talked about drummers for a little bit. Who are some of the drummers you are really into right now?
Right now it's probably it's always been Vinny. Also, besides Neil Peart, but Vinny. Just because that guy's amazing.
Right.
And then he can keep a groove and keep the odd times, and just he's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But also Bernard Purdy. He's got just this stupid fat pocket, which is always nice.
And I love watching his videos where he's like just like talking while he's playing, like woo, it's so fun. I'm like, this guy just loves to play drums.
Oh yeah, he seems like a character.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And he makes it look so easy too, which just sucks.
Yeah, for sure.
But who else? Jeff Porcaro. I've a long time ago I was into the play as much as you can kind of thing. But now more and more I'm into the less is more as long as it has a good groove kind of thing. With Bernard Purdy, which isn't necessarily less, but he lets it breathe.
Right. It's a good way to put it.
Which is what I like lately.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's also a guy named Mark Zonder. I don't know if you've heard of him. That guy's a monster. He plays for a band called Fate's Warning, or I'm sorry, he used to. And he's pretty incredible. He's like a Mike Portnoy kind of thing.
Right.
But I think better, a little more variety to what he plays.
Not stiff.
Yeah. And he's pretty good. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head right now.
When you're in your shop, do you throw on music to set you in a certain type of mood when you're building a drum, or you just whatever?
I'll just put on the radio, some background noise. I'm not too picky unless I'm just in the mood to hear something in particular. I'll put on Sting or something to hear some Vinny. I don't know. But no, there's nothing particular I'll put on. As long as I have background noise. If it's quiet, then I'm pissed off. I gotta have some kind of noise.
Yeah.
But no, it's just usually the radio.
Yeah. Because I've talked to
to break it up.
I've talked to some other drummers or drum builders, and like if they're building a drummer for somebody who's into metal, they'll throw in metal on just to kind of get in a mind frame, which I think is very interesting. And
it is.
I'd probably lose my mind after about 20 minutes. It's like, all right, Slipknot is done. We're putting back on whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't. If it's something that I like, it'll distract me from what I'm doing also.
Oh, okay. I got you.
It's a good
Or
point,
I should say something that I like too much. I'm not going to put on something I don't like.
You'll be analyzing the drumming while you're like, oh shoot, I should have been working.
Yeah. I don't want to lose my fingers or anything. working
Air-
with a saw.
Yeah.
Air drumming while the saw's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch! I just cut
Dang it.
the shell in half. Yeah.
So it's just a radio.
Nice. Well, and do you have any advice for drummers? I know quite a few people listen to the podcast who are amateur drum builders or or just interested in it. Do you have any any advice you'd give them?
Geez, don't be afraid of screwing up because you're gonna. A lot of times, that's where you learn the most is when you screw up.
Okay.
That's it's a lot of it's trial and error. Ask questions if you have them of somebody. But the messing up part is going to be the biggest part of your education, also.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I was gonna say that's right up there with what did Thomas Edison say? He figured out 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's so much trial and error. Thank God for the internet that you can Google build a drum and a lot of stuff will pop up.
Right.
But that still doesn't replace doing it with your own hands. You can follow directions all you want.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's going to turn out right the first time. And and there's definitely a bit of a learning curve, and it's just a matter of getting through that curve, and then you'll be making something for sure. It's
Nice.
it's just getting through that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's knowing how to use the tools. A lot of people say I have no woodworking experience, but I want to build a drum. Well, the half of the building the drum part is woodworking experience. So that there's a few different things you're working with there too,
Right.
which isn't a bad thing. It's just a matter of a lot of people want to start today and have a drum tomorrow. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. That's true.
So yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, I know you probably got some stuff you're working on, especially since the holidays are coming up. But
Yeah.
so we don't want to take any more of your time. But
Yeah.
So people can go follow you on Instagram, Facebook. Are you on Twitter? Maybe.
No, I'm not. I'm not on Twitter. No.
Okay.
I don't like Twitter. It's not visual enough.
Yeah. What about YouTube? Do you have a YouTube page to show your drums off, or maybe?
Yeah. I've put as many demos of them as I can. A buddy of mine is good in front of the camera. He owns a drum school, so he does them for me in his place.
Oh,
but
okay,
yeah, if you just put in Bellwether Drums in any of the on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, and I'll pop up in any of them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And do people reach out to you a lot for advice, or?
It's hit and miss.
Hit and miss.
Yeah, I tell them what I can. I don't want to give away some of my own stuff that I developed, but I help when I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think again, I think the internet's helped with that. People can Google stuff and you'll at least get a basic idea and then go from there. But yeah, every now and then people ask me about certain things, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not going to give away all the secrets.
Yeah. I'll help you to a certain point, and then I won't.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being on. And Adam, you got anything else you'd like to ask him real quick before we jump off?
No, I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm kind of just processing everything.
I know.
That, we talked about so far. It's a lot. So.
Usually, after we get done recording, Adam and I will stay on and we'll talk for about 15 minutes, trying to process everything we've heard, and or it's like, damn it, I forgot to ask that question.
Yeah. Well,
because we don't.
Hindsight's all 2020.
Yeah. Well, Adam, I know, Adam, you don't keep notes, do you, or questions or anything?
No,
I don't either. I don't either. So we just kind of wing it when we end. We probably should, but I don't like doing the notes, and
right.
You have to hit this question, this question, this question. Just let it flow organically. So yeah.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well,
yep.
I appreciate you being on, and so let me just hit end. I want to stop the recording. So see you guys. Bye.
Okay, take it easy.
Bye.